honest to God, I feel that much anymore we as human beings, as this entire human civilization, is becoming much more corrupt by the day, as this world is obviously going into a hell in a handbasket type situation. And unless if all of us come together and put aside our differences, and I'm not saying that necessarily we have to accept one another's belief systems and or otherwise, but simply saying that we will never progress as a humanity unless, of course, we put aside our differences, work together, and overcome the obstacles and challenges that life simply has to offer. The important aspect of life, well, one of the many important aspects, is that we just have to provide life with everything that we simply have to offer, and knowing and realizing to ourselves that if we simply do the best that we can in life and to give everything that we have to offer, and at the same time as we maintain as much as possible a positive mental state of mind and have a clear visual perspective to the different cultures, traditional cultures throughout the world, and we can finally become free in that much of sense. Despite myself as being a misanthropic, I like to believe that, you know, I see as much as possible the positive within the good in everyone and everything. It seems that my consciousness that I still have, and as I uphold my morals and values and principles that I was brought up with, you know, it feels at times that you cannot help but to, you know, feel that you're losing your faith and hopes in people, in human beings as a human civilization. That ultimately we rather spend our time constantly partying and drinking and other forms of trivialities that we have no sense of, that we have become so disconnected from reality of much of a sense that we rather self-indulge ourselves constantly in the usage of technology to the point where it's actually corrupted us and made us completely blind, narrow-minded, and, you know, losing our morals and values. Because anymore, we'd rather, after work, after 9 to 5, we'd rather come home and watch television, this corporate television, and we have absolutely no regards for anyone else with the exception of ourselves. We rather plug our minds into this corporate television and this, you know, this culture. And truth be told, honest to God, we have, you know, we have no interest or convenience to actually speak to one another or ask each other how we're doing, or even let alone to help one another out, because you see more of that in today's modern generation and society, that so many of the majority of people actually constantly fight amongst ourselves, and we should be working together and progressing, just like how the advancements of technology is constantly evolving and progressing forward for the future. And that's the point of how we should be at. But somehow we've finally reached to the point that we have no regards for anyone else. You know, we don't take the time to even help one another out or do really much of anything with our lives. I believe honestly that it truly is a shame, because we cannot seem to work past our differences as we continue to revel within, the confines of what makes us worse. I mean, it's like, of what makes us worse. To be honest, I wish to see more of us actually disconnecting from technology. I'm not saying entirely, but temporarily. Just at least for the sake of few times a week, and connect more with the nature around us, because nature is something that is completely purified and innocent, and it's extraordinary, it's beautiful. It's something that is not only breathtaking, but it's inspiring, as well as it is something that is one of the greatest, God's creation, if you want to believe in a divine providence or implicate order of whatever have you. But as for myself, I accept people of all races, all religion, or whatever. But that's off topic. But we just have to focus all of our attention. We have to focus all of our undivided attention upon ourselves to begin with. It starts from the inside out. We have to focus on ways of having to improve ourselves for the betterment, to more positive. Because if we don't, then there's really no hope for this civilization, as we just watch ourselves to our demise and our collapse. And really, despite being a misanthropic, that's something that I would not wish to see. And because, well, as a misanthropic, my misanthropy is directed toward that I stand my ground against the global corruption and all the things that are like venomous and vile, and that's another thing. As the economy becomes worse, you start to really take notice of how disrespectful and diabolical and cynical and rude that a lot of the people have become. In my honest to God opinion, I believe strongly that this world actually will become much better as we become something greater than ourselves, something greater than life in itself, and we can actually successfully achieve and accomplish so much if we actually put our minds to it. And if the important thing is just never to give up in life, and to continue to strive forward of what you're doing, and do what you love, and do it completely honestly. I think nature is one of the greatest gifts of life that has yet to offer. And if only that we can actually, get more in touch with it, and especially if we get to learn about more of the different cultures throughout the world. There's just so many people I know that have absolutely no idea about the different cultures, throughout the world. And that's just unfortunate and shameful, and it's really disgraceful.